Coming out of high school, he was seen as a future NFL draft prospect, the future of Clemson football, and a guy who could tear up the college football world. That is not how it would end up going for him, though. As we flash forward a few years, not only was he a bust for Clemson, but he was a bust at the school he transferred to, and now his career has come full circle. It's honestly one of the weirdest college stories I've ever heard, and in today's video, I want to revisit the Hunter Johnson story, talk about how he rose to 5-star status, his career so far, and what honestly went wrong for Hunter Johnson. But before we can get into today's video, nearly 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, and I know we can do better than that, so quickly be sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that like button for the algorithm, and turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload. Now, let's get started and talk about what happened to Hunter Johnson. Before we get started, if you want to check out all my What Happened To videos, I'll leave a link to the playlist in both the description and the comment section. Also, let me know what player I should take a look at next. Back to the story. So just about a year ago, I actually made a video about Hunter Johnson. It's one of my top performing videos of all time, but I don't really like how it was made, and I decided I'm going to redo it. As many of you guys know, Hunter Johnson entered the portal a couple of weeks ago, and he is now back at Clemson. This is a really strange story, and in order to understand everything that went on, we first need to go back in time and see how Hunter Johnson became a star to begin with. Before he was once considered the #1 quarterback in his recruiting class, Hunter Johnson grew up in the city of Indianapolis and was a natural athlete from the very beginning. There were stories of him being able to throw a ball so accurate that he could apparently hit a diving board of a pool multiple times in a row, and he once hit the crossbar of a goalpost from 30 yards out. Apparently, there was a $20 bet on that, and as rumor has it, he never ended up getting that money. Football did run in his family's blood, as his dad played quarterback and was a pitcher for Evansville University, which is located in southern Indiana, and he knew his son was something special from the very beginning. His older brother Cole was a star wide receiver for his high school before him, and he was actually good enough to become a preferred walk-on for Northwestern. Because of that, Hunter had visited the campus many times in middle school, and he was very familiar with the place, and he had no idea it would become his future home. His dad said he knew Hunter was big time when they were on a trip to Florida, and on one windy day, Reed kept trying to throw a spiral and couldn't do it. Meanwhile, Hunter was doing it with absolute ease. His high school coach had been coaching Indiana high school football for decades, and when he saw Hunter play, he said he hadn't seen a quarterback that good since Jeff George. In case you don't know who that is, he played for both Purdue and Illinois and became the #1 overall pick in the 1990 NFL Draft. After leading his high school to an 8-2 record and being named Indiana's Mr. Football, Hunter Johnson's head coach had this to say, quote, "He actually accelerates or does better with that kind of pressure. The kid has lived with it all his life. As a freshman, he started getting Division I offers, and people don't understand that becomes a huge target. Every flaw is mentioned, but not any of the accomplishments. The best thing about him is his humility and his character." Believe it or not, Johnson was the #1 quarterback in his class for quite some time, and he actually originally committed to Tennessee. At the time, he committed to the Volunteers over the likes of Notre Dame and Penn State, and he had this to say about it. Quote, "I've been in contact with Tennessee for so long now, and I know so much about Tennessee, I didn't see a reason why I wouldn't commit. That's what I told my parents, why wouldn't I go here? I've always felt really comfortable at Tennessee. I think the distance has always been a perfect distance for me. Not too far, but close enough to home. Playing in the SEC, Coach Butch Jones, Coach Mike DeBoard, and Coach Sheridan. The whole coaching staff is really great. Tennessee is really on the rise right now, and I feel like Tennessee is an opportunity I cannot pass up." That did not seem to last that long though, as he would ultimately decide to flip his commitment to Clemson. Apparently, their incoming signee, Jarrett Guarantano, actually kind of talked a little trash about Hunter on social media, and while he did not directly mention Hunter, it was pretty clear who he was targeting. It seemed like Hunter was leaving for greener pastures at Clemson, but this was not easy for him. He said, quote, "It was definitely tough. I built great relationships at Tennessee. I respect the heck out of the coaching staff at Tennessee, and I felt like the decision for me to go to Clemson was the right one, and I'm confident about it. The fan base at Tennessee is really special, and the coaches there are great. But I'm confident the coaches at Clemson are going to have me going in the right direction too." So yeah, it was difficult, and then explained why he left Tennessee, but why did Clemson feel like home? Well, he said him and his family both felt like it was the right spot for him, and that he had a special connection when he went there. He did not seek to flip his commitment, as he said he felt very confident with his early decision to go to Tennessee, but once he got to Clemson, he said it felt right there. In case I didn't clarify earlier, Hunter played at Brownsburg High School, and in his time there, he threw for nearly 7,000 yards and 69 touchdowns, while also rushing for nearly 1,000 yards and 7 scores on the ground. He was definitely more of a pro-style player, and someone who was going to need to develop at the next level. He had all the tools. According to 24/7 Sports, Johnson was a 5-star recruit, the number 2 pro-style quarterback, and the 30th best player in the class of 2017. He had all the hype in the world, but how would he do when he arrived at Clemson? Let's take a look. When Hunter would arrive at Clemson, he was going to be competing with Kelly Bryant and Zarek Cooper. Kelly ended up winning the job, and at one point, Johnson became the 3rd-string guy. He would work his way back up to the backup spot, though, as he saw playing time in 7 games as a true freshman. He completed 78% of his passes for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. Clemson obviously won the ACC, and it was a great start for him, and while he had all the potential in the world, Trevor Lawrence was coming in. Hunter would immediately have to make a decision, and combining that with a family health issue, after 1 year, he was already gone. When he decided to leave, Coach Sweeney had this to say: "While it is always disappointing to lose a great person and a great player, I am so thankful to have had the opportunity to work with Hunter and watch him grow and develop over the last year and a half. Hunter is one of the best young men I've ever coached and has a very bright future ahead of him." Johnson was very thankful for the opportunity to be a part of Clemson, but he knew it was time to move on. When he entered the portal, many expected Tennessee to pursue him and make an effort to land him, but he never even considered them. Both Purdue and Indiana were trendy options, but neither of them ended up happening either. He actually visited both Duke and Northwestern, and those would become his final 2. When he visited Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois, he ended up bonding with their star quarterback Clayton Thorson, and because of that, he would choose to be a Wildcat and had this to say: Quote, "I'm thrilled to be a part of the Wildcat family. The program that Coach Fitzgerald and his staff have built at Northwestern is phenomenal, and one my family has had the opportunity to get to know and trust. I'm thankful to Coach Sweeney and Clemson for all their support over the past year and a half. My focus is now on doing everything in my power to help this team prepare and compete for a Big Ten West title." He would have to sit out a year in 2018, but in 2019 he was named the starter of the Wildcats program. Fortunately, the hype was about all he had, as once he got on the field, it was terrible. He battled both injuries and poor play, as he ended up throwing for 432 yards with 1 touchdown and 4 picks in 2019. Not the kind of numbers anyone was expecting, and Northwestern had a miserable year. Maybe he'd bounce back in 2020, right? No. They brought in quarterback transfer Peyton Ramsey from Indiana, and he became the starter and led them to the Big Ten championship. Ramsey would be gone in 2021 though, and he would battle it out with South Carolina transfer Ryan Helinski for the starting job. How did that go? Well, he was actually named the starting quarterback for their Week 1 matchup with Michigan State. In that game, he threw for nearly 300 yards with 3 touchdowns. This was the best game of his career by far, but after struggling against both Indiana State and Duke, he was benched for the remainder of the year, and that is the last time he stepped on the football field. He finished with 424 yards passing, with 4 touchdowns and 4 picks. Some thought maybe his career would be over, but with the extra year of eligibility, he'd have an opportunity to go somewhere else, which is why he entered the transfer portal. He had been in the portal for a couple of days before we found out today that he is going to rejoin the Clemson program. Sweeney is in need of some depth at quarterback after Pomachan transferred out. Right now, they only have 2 guys in Cade Klubnik and DJ Uiagalelei, and we all know how DJ did, and Cade is only a freshman, so why not bring in a guy like Hunter, who already knows the program, is already trusted, and could be a reliable backup. At least that's why I think Clemson signed him, and I am happy that Hunter will get an opportunity to go there, but we all know he's not going to get on the field unless something really goes south for Clemson. So what has gone wrong for Hunter Johnson, you may ask? Well, honestly, after I've been reading and talking to people, it seems like he was really overhyped coming out of high school. He's one of those guys that was ranked as a 5-star because of potential and not because of what was already there. It seems he could never quite put it all together, and you can't say he didn't have opportunity to play. He was the opening starter for 2 years at Northwestern, and within a few games, he was always benched. Sadly, Hunter Johnson is a big what if, but maybe, just maybe, he'll have some sort of miracle year at Clemson. If not, he was a legend in the Indiana high school football scene, which is where I'm from, so I always followed him pretty closely, and I hope the best for him. But what do you guys think? If you're a Clemson fan, let me know what you think down in the comment section, and what went wrong for Hunter Johnson. Who's a player I could take a look at in my next video, and give me any other topic I could cover next. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below, smash that like button if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you are new, and check out my playlist of all my other What Happened To videos, and the videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.